All right, here we are, the Metal Block, episode number 26. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us. It's great to have you here with us again, following us along just to talk about some music. We have an extra special guest today, and that's exciting.
Hey,
So, hey, who is this guy? Who is the mystery guy? Everybody wants to know. So, we have Eric Park with us, everybody, drummer of, gosh,
Woo!
we've got lots of projects that Eric's been a part of. I think, was it Suture? Was that one of the first groups that you were with?
yes.
Am I saying that right? It was Suture,
Yep.
correct? All
Yep.
right, yeah. And then I know you've also got A Devil's Daydream.
Yep.
You've also got Rod of Obsidian,
Yep.
and you've also got the Tongue of Eden.
Yep.
And hope I'm not missing anybody except for dun, 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 everybody knows Devourment. So, really excited to have you here with us, Eric.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then everybody else, you guys know the other two locals here. We got Harry Sachs. Say hello.
Yeah, I got to change my name from Harry Sachs on there. Eric, for some context, every week I would like pick a new name, like Harry Sachs or Jack Me
Jack
Off
Me
or
Off
something.
or
Every
Phil
every every
McCrevis.
week I would do a name, and so I didn't realize that it auto saved my name every week as Harry Sachs. So for like the last 3 weeks, or last 3 times we've done the pod, they're like saying Harry Sachs, and in my head I'm like, I guess they just chose Harry Sachs for me. So I wasn't aware that my name says Harry Sachs on there. I didn't know that for about a month.
It's following
And,
you now. You're
yeah.
stuck.
Yeah, now I'm being chased by Harry Sachs. So
Got a Harry
I'm here.
Sack stain.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
wash it
so
off.
so here's actually one of the great parts is because it's kind of confusing and it was originally him changing every day and we would have to explain that and then it just stuck with now we have to explain that. So it's like every episode we're explaining this alter ego
Yeah.
of Scary Gray.
Maybe I
And
just-
if you do,
Sex.
I guess I should just put my fucking name.
I don't know. It's too late. Too late. And then
Here we are.
everybody, dun 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 dun, cannot forget Brutal Brando. What's up,
What's
dude?
up, blockheads?
Hey, I'm just about to pass it over. The last thing I wanted to say is everybody reach out to us on social media. Check out the Facebook, the X, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. It's there. Send us an email. We will check it. We might actually listen or do or take the suggestion. I think we've gotten one email so far. So, people don't really email anymore, but it's metalblocktalks@gmail.com. Metalblocktalks@gmail.com. So, anyway, interview time. Commence.
let's do it.
All right, I guess I'll take it from there. I've got not a ton of questions, as Zoomy said, making it sound like I had too many. And if I do,
I
we're
was
going up
kidding.
on time here. I'll take them out if I need to. I know the time limit. But anyways, all right, we got Eric Park from Devourment, The Tongue of Eden, Rod of Obsidian, The Devil's Daydream, etc., etc., etc. Eric, let's hear a little bit of history of where you're from. How'd you start playing metal?
I am from a little town outside of Denton, Texas called Crum, Texas, Krum. Little country town. How I got into metal, my grandfather started a neon shop out here in the 70s. My father took it over in the 80s. And so I grew up in a neon shop. And one of the dudes that worked for my father, he was a metalhead. And I think I was in first grade. And I went up to him. He was blasting Master of Puppets on his boombox at his table.
Oh yeah.
And always went and hung out with this dude and, just talked his ear off. Little Eric running around talking his ear off and shit. And so he saw that I was interested. I'm asking him about the music that he's listening to, and he gave me the Master of Puppets tape. And
sick.
One of my favorite memories from that is in first grade, we had like a beach day out on the playground and shit. And so we were allowed to bring boom boxes and other beach shit out to the playground with us. And so I was blasting Master of Puppets out on the playground with my friends. We didn't know what the hell we were
Sick.
listening to, but we loved
Yep.
it. So, but
Yeah,
that's
setting the tone.
that's kind of what started it for me. Was just I liked the intensity.
Kick ass.
I liked what I heard, and I wanted more of it, and so that just kind of led further down the rabbit hole, as it did for all of us, I'm sure, or whoever
Absolutely.
the gateway
That's
drug was.
That's sick that you can pinpoint it like that, though. That's a good specific answer. I like that. I've got a very specific memory as well. And I appreciate that. Well, that kind of segues into what do you think some of your main influences are and inspirations in playing metal as a musician?
Oh man, earlier on, it was probably it was certainly Death and Carcass. Just because I remember seeing their videos on MTV2. I went through a new metal phase for a while, so I got to give all that its love too, because I was just kind of finding what was palatable but still heavy, and so Korn, Slipknot, certainly Slipknot, because Korn for just the heavy ass guitars and the dark, imagery and everything, and then Slipknot comes out. It's a lot more intense, faster. There's death metal elements to it, unknowingly to me, really, because I'd heard death metal, but I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't really break it down, I guess. So I kind of pushed it away, like pushed it to the side. Like I know this is here, I know this exists, but I didn't understand it. And so Slipknot to me was probably the one that took me over the edge, really. Hearing blast beats, like actually understanding them for the first time, the super fast double kicks.
Bass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then just throughout my new metal phase, wanting to become a musician in some capacity, not necessarily a drummer, but like I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to create music. I was obsessed. And then I became obsessed with drums. And so it just kind of became that it was chasing the dragon, really. Like I need to find the fastest stuff, the most extreme stuff, the shit that was challenging and crazy, just trying to break it all down and figure it out. And so I guess it all really started around that time. Again, probably much like it did with all of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to,
it happens
like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Yeah.
I love it, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. So.
In your progression there was also pretty similar to, I think, what we went through, because we listened to a lot of that same new metal, like the Korn, the Limp Bizkit, just trying to find Deftones. Oh yeah, can't forget about Deftones either. And
Static
jumping
X.
over through
Static X,
Mudvayne.
Mudvayne. I still love Mudvayne, man. I'm not
same.
I'll admit that to this day. I mean, I don't think Chad Gray, boy, does he look rough these days on that stage with that paint and shit, dude. God damn. But he's a fucking LD50. It is what it is,
Oh yeah, I think he fell while playing Falling.
I saw it. Yeah, he did. He was like, whoop. He just like fucking disappears off the he slammed
that was
too.
That was recently, fairly recently.
I hope he's okay, but fuck.
Yeah.
Good time.
I took a drink right as you said that. That was
falling.
Yeah.
It's like you are falling. But anyways, all right, my bad there. I got kind of off on a Mudvayne rant there. But so while you're dealing with all these influences and inspirations and exciting death metal, kind of coming your way and getting introduced to all of it, how was your metal scene? Did you have shows to go to? Were you kind of like in the Denton scene since you were close to it, or how did that work for you?
No, not in the Denton scene per se, like right away.
Right.
But certainly DFW. The first show I ever went to was Cradle of Filth, Nile, Diabolic, and God Forbid. So that was I was 15, and I was 15 and like standing right in front of fucking Carl,
dude,
stage left, and like or he was stage right, I was house left, and yeah, that blew my little brain apart.
Bro, who took you to that? How the hell did you end up at Nile at 15?
My mother.
Cradle of Filth. That's so
My-
badass. See, what's crazy that you say that
My
is
mother.
Cradle of Filth, when I was in 6th grade, really, maybe it was about 6th grade, I think it was, Dusk and Her Embrace dropped. And my buddy was obsessed with it. He bought it, you know, and like he played it for me at his house. And I was like, what the fuck is this shrieking noise? You know, like it was Danny Phillips Highs. And it was like,
Yeah.
this is absolutely ridiculous. And dude, the second I saw the album art with that beautiful woman in that bathtub of blood, I was sold. I was instantly like, this is the best thing in the world. And also, what really did it for me was the Iron Maiden "Hallowed Be Thy Name" cover.
It's
And
such
that
a good
guitar.
cover.
That's one of the greatest songs of all time. And "Funeral in Carpathia," you know, that's the "Be Quicker, Be Dead" version. But for some reason, I became like oddly obsessed. And my mom told me, like from 6th grade and on, that anywhere that they come, I'll take you to it. You know, and I think it was probably after maybe, or it was, you know, somehow I missed that tour that you said, because damn, I should have taken her up on that. But she was telling me that she would take me no matter where it was in the country and all that. And then I ended up, she never ended up going to a Cradle of Filth show with me, and it was years later that I got to finally see them a few times in concert. But it's so weird that you said your mom took you to a Cradle of Filth show.
So she took me and my buddy and dropped us off.
Oh man, that's trust.
I couldn't believe it, but yeah, she dropped us off. We did what we said we were going to do, and then that kind of continued. That one was like a test. Like, okay, like if y'all can, you know, be responsible or whatever, then we'll allow you to do this. So that was kind of always the deal with my folks. I was fortunate they were supportive of that shit, because that helped nurture all this, you know, eventually. But
absolutely, it's like you had to like prove yourself that you can be trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a
don't
good
fuck
way to
up.
do it,
Don't
though. I mean,
don't
look,
fuck up your grades. You know, you got to work, chores, all that shit. But if you do all that, well,
you may have been in Devourment.
Yeah.
You know, you may end up drumming around the world, huh?
Yeah, fuck, man. It
cool,
was cool,
so,
man. It was, but Denton, I don't feel like yeah, there were metal shows here, but I don't feel like and I could be way off base, but I feel like more of the death metal stuff or extreme metal stuff kind of started happening kind of as we were all coming up, and we were bringing it here a little bit. And again, I could be completely wrong, but that's what it felt like anyway.
Yeah, right.
Music scene definitely here. You know, you got UNT, renowned jazz school, so there was constantly a lot of music and culture here. But metal was kind of it's more, you know, like Pantera worship or new metal stuff or things like that. There wasn't a lot of extreme metal coming through here. You'd have to go to a DFW.
Stuff you hear on the radio.
Right. So, but now, I mean, shit, dude, I went and saw Goat Whore last year at Rubber Gloves, and that was one of the coolest things to see them here in Denton. And Brujeria played, and Napalm Death, and, and I was just like, "What in the yes, this is
that's awesome.
Finally,
bring these people here forever," you know. But anyway,
you did it, Eric. Congratulations, man.
I had nothing to do with it, but it was super super cool to see that. That's what people are looking for here. So I dig it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what bands? What will you list off the bands you've played with? If it's not too long, I mean, I know I have a little list here myself, but I'd like to hear your rendition of it. I know I like the first band that Zoomy named. I hadn't even heard of that one. You know, we've been known each other. I haven't known you as long as these guys have.
So Suture, Suture, I joined when I was 15. They're out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's another kind of fun story that we can get into later. But Suture, and then it was Scarline, which then turned into Hyperion, which then is now Wrought of Obsidian. Right. I did a little stint with a band called Martyred out of Austin. Really, really awesome death metal band. Devourment.
Is there a video that's kind of like looking down on that Martyred where you're I don't know. I remember seeing a video from back in the day. Was that before Devourment?
No, that was so I think that was actually Ricky Myers because he joined Martyred after I did, after I left.
Okay.
And so I think that
Okay,
first
cool,
video
never
that they
mind.
did was with Ricky.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought that was you.
But Martyred
Or
was
I'm
kind of
thinking of a different video.
maybe. Oh, are you
Yeah,
thinking
my
of
bad,
the
my bad.
parasitic eruption video, the Devourment
I think
video?
so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Where it's all dark, like you
Yeah,
can't really see
it's
what's
dark
going
as
on.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's that one.
My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. Kind of all over the place, but Devourment, and then later on A Devil's Daydream, and then now just started the Tongue of Eden. But left Devourment in 2013. So right now my main projects are the Tongue of Eden, Wrought of Obsidian, and then A Devil's Daydream and Wrought of Obsidian. I don't want to call it a hiatus, but it's kind of where we're at. We're just nobody's calling it quits or anything. We're just trying to reorganize some stuff. So figure out what the pathway is. So really pushing Tongue of Eden pretty hard right now. But
Seeing all
those have been the
stuff out
main
there,
things that
cool.
I've done.
Yeah, busy man. Brandon, what were you saying?
I was saying I've seen a lot of the, the promos and the TikToks and all that for the Tongue of Eden, dude. It's cool. The imagery is awesome.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that.
The music
I was
pretty
actually
cool too.
Yeah, the music, it's different, and I always kind of wondered when metal was going to enter into this dance, music kind of scene. And it's probably been there longer than I even knew. But one thing, you mentioned the imagery, man, the logo was just so different, that
Awesome.
it rocked, man. It reminded me of really some kind of ritualistic kind of looking stuff, but you can clearly see what is written there. But the fact that you get to see a really cool original metal logo, which, we've had times on our shows where we talked about metal logos and how important a metal logo is, but also how so many of them look the same now. And
Sure.
to be able to distinguish yourself
Absolutely.
is really, really cool. That was one of the comments we made about Party Cannon was we were like, hey, their logo is like nothing like what we're used to seeing. So, we wanted to check it out. And so I definitely extend the same thing that imagery attracts the metalheads to it. So it's really cool to get to check that out.
That's awesome, man. I mean, especially coming from metalheads that I know that y'all are, we understand when we kind of put this thing together, we understood that like some people are going to like it. A lot of people aren't, especially super elitist metalheads. You know what I mean? So, and we've been dealing with that a little bit, but what I find really cool is, comments like that where people are seeing the overlap and how they complement each other. And we're just trying to take the things that we enjoy from both and do it in a fun way that maybe and I'm like you, like I know this stuff exists, but I don't know that it exists the way that we're doing it. At least I feel that way to a degree. So just trying to make it as unique as we possibly can, knowing we're not breaking the wheel, but just having fun with it. And because synth wavy, dark wave, all that electronic stuff is really rad. And when you break down a lot of the riffs that are going on there, they're fucking metal as hell. So it's like,
Hell yeah.
It reminds me, and I know it's not a apples to apples, but it reminds me of how like back in the day, how you had your punk, you had your metal, and they didn't really cross over.
yeah,
And then you had Motorhead, and Motorhead was like bridge the gap, and all of a sudden punk fans could be metal fans and metal fans could be punk fans. And it's like these are the kind of movements that just evolve over time, and they're natural to help us just discover the next thing. And like I said, I always just kind of wondered when it would happen, and whenever I started listening to this, I was like, well, this is top-notch stuff. I mean, for somebody who just started listening to it. So
that's awesome, man.
Way to break out, into something new, and to just, I don't know, get outside the circle, and try it.
That's really the idea in a nutshell, honestly, is just to neither of us, me or Ian, have done anything like this before. And so it's really a way for us to exercise that creativity and also like test our production skills is really what we've been. That was kind of like the mission statement, you know, is like, we're going to take this as far as we possibly can this way and then just kind of see what happens. And so far the response has been really good. They're mixed reviews from people we expect to get mixed reviews from or negative reviews, but I almost like that to a degree because it validates that we're doing it right in some aspects.
Absolutely.
You know? But,
Yeah. So,
Dude.
Anyway.
I'm curious.
Right now,
like,
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask, man, like, so a lot of it is production, right? You're doing a lot of it on the computer. Are the drums or the guitar, like, is it all electronically created, or are you guys playing like real raw instruments on there too?
So it's a mixture of both. So right now I'm in the process of building or refinishing an outbuilding into a rehearsal space / studio. So I don't really have a way to record drums here. So all the drums that are done on the Tongue of Eden stuff right now are programmed. But in each song, at least what the ones that we have currently, there are acoustic parts, the parts that I'll be playing live, and then there are electronic drums that are running kind of in the background just to add extra elements. So the idea is we're a two-piece. We're going to try to keep it that way as much as we can. We may hire session people out when we go live if we can't figure out a way to route everything between us two. But what it'll look like on stage is me behind the kit, kind of like the Reprehensible video. It'll be me behind the kit doing vocals, playing my parts, and then Ian playing guitar, keys, and then also doing vocals. And then everything else that is we're not able to play will be backing tracks.
Okay.
So, but never replacing the parts that were meant to be played, if that makes sense. Like we're not. Yeah. There's a lot of elements to this stuff.
There is.
We can't have, I mean, I guess we could, but we don't have the money for that right now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's like, it happens though when you have that many layers. Like Rivers and Nile, they have to backtrack some stuff because he's like, people give him shit online. He's like, I have 7 guitars recorded in that one moment. Like, what am I supposed to fucking do? Like
exactly.
I've got to keep stuff that keeps me going, and it's this part. It's like you said, but you're doing the main part. You know what I mean? Like the main right. spotlight of the song. You're not like guitar solo. Here's the program. You know what I mean? It's
right. Yeah. Like I'm not going to have my kicks be the thing that are, there might be EDM kicks that are pulsing, but like the fast different. Double bass, the blast beats and stuff like that, that's not going to be the stuff that's going to be the backing track stuff. So,
right.
So I'm trying to, when creating this stuff, I'm trying to make it as human sounding as possible. Like I literally have my practice kit behind me in the studio. So when I write parts, when I'm done writing it, I'll go back and then I'll play it, make sure that I can actually play the shit. And then I'll go and make adjustments if I need to. And then, like in the case for the Reprehensible stuff, when we went to go shoot the video, I literally took just the drum track. I practiced that for like a week. And then I started incorporating the vocals with it. And then I got it up to where I could do it all. And then we met up and then we performed it with the backing tracks. And then that's essentially our method right now as to bringing this stuff live. So
that's cool, man.
Which is kind of cool for me because I've always written everything in the room with other musicians. So this is the first time that like Ian and I get on calls like this. We have a meeting every week. We discuss songs, project, whatever. But we're literally just passing the stuff back and forth, which is, and then we meet up in the room for rehearsals and stuff as needed. But it's been different writing that way. And it's been challenging because I'll write some stuff and I'm like, no, it needs to sound like that. And then I go back to the kit. And I'm like, fuck, I can't play that right now. So it's so then I got to go and I got to work that up. But so it's a new challenge that I'm welcoming, and it's been a lot of fun. So
That's sick.
instead of like
Yeah,
just
that's awesome.
leaning on stuff that I might otherwise do just because that's what I know how to do, I guess is the best way to
Right.
put it.
Get outside your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Brandon, I know you had a couple questions. That would
Yeah,
be great to answer right now.
yeah. I was wondering, man. Like, so how did you guys come up with the idea for the Tongue of Eden? Like this concept of EDM and metal. Like, are you guys both fans of EDM, or like,
Yeah.
how was this idea born?
So a little backstory on Ian. Both metalheads, but he is much more engrossed in the EDM world. Like he has a solo project called YSA, where it's DJ sets, it's solo sets, very where he'll build out these EDM songs, play guitar to them, much like kind of what he's bringing to the Tongue of Eden. But he's much more ingrained in that world than I am. But I started getting into a lot of EDM stuff when I found a lot of synthwave and darkwave stuff about, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. I don't want to say that I was getting burnout on metal because I can never be burnout on metal, but it was fresh to my ears and I was really enjoying it. And that's kind of what had an idea for this project. Posed it to him like, hey man, I need help with this. Would you like to do this? And he agreed. And we've both been just kind of chipping away at it since 2022. But that's kind of what we're doing was the idea. Like, hey, let's blend this as best we can where it's still metal, but a lot of the voicing or the main voicings that you're going to hear are going to be electronically driven. Wanted to do the costumes just to give the stage show a lot more something aesthetic that was fun. And yeah, I'm all about anti-religious shit. So I was like, okay, I'm finally going to do a project where that's going to be the main focus.
All right.
Tried to find a sacrilegious name and, and all that other stuff, or at least use it to that purpose for what we're doing with it. But
All right.
I don't know, just trying to have fun with it, man. Really.
Yeah, that's all that
And
matters.
not be cringy at the same time.
Yeah, and that's hard.
Yeah, it is, dude. There's maximum cringe in the sacrilegious world. That's for sure.
There is.
Especially in like Oklahoma, Texas, like areas like that.
dude.
It's still.
I hate you, God.
Oh gosh, I'm always careful.
Yeah, it's a fine line for sure. But yeah, I think about that a lot. Writing lyrics, just trying not to. I'm talking about my hatred for evangelism. Isn't this the same fucking thing? That kind of paradox, and trying to weave it in a way that's more humanitarian, I guess, but still sticking it to the man.
There you go.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's
well, cool.
that's the main idea.
So you guys have, I guess, is it four singles right now?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Wraith Legion is awesome. By the way, I've listened to that.
Thank you.
10 times just in the last 2 days. It's so cool, man.
Awesome.
I've listened to it before, but it's like for some reason it's just been going nonstop in my truck. But I was like, is there an EP or like a full length in the works, or
There's a
plan to do singles?
There's a full length in the works, so we'll probably release 1 or 2 more singles before the full length comes out. Aiming to have the remainder of the full length for a total of 11 songs finished by the end of this month, and then we start the actual mix and master process. And so we're hoping tentatively it'll probably be a fall release. And then 2 singles. All the singles that are released are going to be a part of the album. But yeah, that's what we're looking to do with it right now.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Looking forward to hearing it.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet it's different when like, you know, you have these like, you have this idea of what it's going to be, and then when you finally put it all together, and I'm sure it's a shitload of tracks on a computer screen, and I can't imagine what it's like watching that evolve, and then when you finally can like hit play with everything all together, like the anticipation of, does it sound like what I envisioned, you know, like,
Right,
or
right.
better.
Wraith Legion, I feel like has been the closest so far.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
pretty happy with that one. And I think learning what we learned up to get to where we were with that one, the rest of them, I hope continue in that direction, or at least meet right there. I'd be happy with meeting there, but exceeding that would be great. But the tracks are really cool. They're all different. I mean, I know that's everybody says that, but I at least feel like we're trying to touch different avenues in each one purposely to kind of be like, here's a showcase of what we can do, you know. And that's a part of it. That's what we wanted to do with it. No real, I don't want to say no real direction, because there's definitely direction, but if it fits and it works, awesome. We'll do it. So there might be some country shit in one of them.
Man, I'm all about variety. Like, I mean, it's cool having concept albums, or like everything has the same kind of tone, but I'm a fan of albums where the songs have a discernible difference, you know, where there's rhythm or just something different about each song, so that, you know, there's a stop and a start and a stop to each one. You know, there's some albums that come out now where you listen to 35 minutes and it's like, was that more than one song? Like, you know,
you're driving down the road and
like
you look
a
up
continuation of one thing, you know. So
you're driving and 15 minutes later you look up and you're like, has the song changed? You know, we talked about that since we listened to so many songs and albums for this podcast, and there's some of them you're just like, I looked up 20 minutes later and I forgot I was honestly listening to music and it sounded the exact same, you know. And I kind of got that even, you know, on the new Job for a Cowboy, how we were talking about.
I got that too.
And yeah, you looked up and it was like, damn, that's one 35-minute long bass line. And it's a nice bass line. It's a nice bass line.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but I understand that for sure.
I'm a fan of that different sounds and like getting a different feel for each song though. Like, you know, that's cool. And I can hear that with the singles that you've released so far. I mean, it almost even sounds like a progression, like just going from your earliest one up. So, I mean, kudos,
that's awesome.
Man. Good job. It's cool.
That's really, really cool to hear. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I was going to say earlier too was right now is a kick-ass time to be doing this idea and like the music that you're making, because EDM and metal are like meshing right now like a motherfucker. Like there are kids that they're straight up EDM kids and they're wearing like they're even like a lot of EDM artists are making like death metal type logos. You know, they're moshing like maniacs at all these shows now. And I just actually saw a clip of this. Have you heard of the DJ Sudden Death?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just saw him playing a Peeling Flesh song during one of his sets, and he's up there just like he's up there and they're just like playing a whole Peeling Flesh song from start to finish, and the crowd's moshing their ass off to it. And I'm like, this is at an EDM festival in Europe.
That's what I'm saying, man.
It's like
it's been there this whole time. It's just like nobody wanted to accept it or something, or it's like who's going to cross the line first, you know?
Right, dude. It's a good time to be doing that.
I have to agree, and but I went to a Perturbator show in Dallas, and I couldn't believe the amount of metal homies that were there.
Right.
I mean, like I'm there, so I mean, like it made sense, but I was just like, ha, no shit. Yeah,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, absolutely. That's cool as
it's
shit.
like I'm on to you. So
yeah. Listen to this.
Yep.
So, I've got something for you.
Well, that's cool. Do you guys plan on ever playing shows with Tongue of Eden? Obviously, you talked about it a few times. The live setup, you know. You don't have any plan, do you, so far?
We actually, and I don't know if this is going to go through or not. Our plan is we wanted to. The album kind of got pushed back a little bit later than we want, which seems to always happen. So our plan was to really hunker down and focus on getting that done, and then once it's done, wanted that like discovery out there. Like I didn't want to get into the same old thing of going to play shows, but then nobody's got anything to go back to. You know what I mean? So I wanted to really,
Right.
really fucking get as much stuff out there so that when we do start playing shows, people have things to go back to.
That's the way to do it, man.
I hope so. Again, I've never done it this way before. So,
Yeah.
I've always done it the other way, and that's why I'm like,
I was gonna say, I think we all know the feeling of being people like, hey, where do I listen to? It's like you can listen to one song on MySpace. You know, it's like not having any concrete.
Here's a sleeve with our burnt CD. Like, go
3 songs on it.
Go check it out.
I'm not even happy about.
Sounds like trash.
Yeah.
In case any of our many listeners didn't know, we are approaching our 40s. So
we are old. Yeah.
Burn CDs and sleeves and MySpace.
That's where my brain still is, right? And so that's why I've been trying really hard to. I guess every old person says that. I know I'm not that old, but still. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate the music industry as it is now, which is so fucking different from 5 years ago. It's so fucking different.
You're not building like an actual physical portfolio anymore. Like Brian Kerrigan used to he came and helped us with Undevout, to like print pictures, and like literally like, like copies and have your burned disc and like have it look good, to send it to record labels and shit, man. It's a trip.
It's so wild, dude. And then you got some things that are, tangible items that are coming back, and it's like it's a lot to look at. So trying to get all those hurdles and things kind of hemmed up, or at least best we can before we take it out on the road and, completely fall flat on our face, which will happen, but trying to get a little bit of a system in place so that we can better bounce back from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sick. I'm gonna rewind this a little bit back and rewind the Eric timeline here and go back to Devourment real quick. There's just some questions I've always wanted to ask, and I figured they were good ones. How old were you when you joined Devourment?
I was technically 17, I think, just about to turn 18.
What was that like, joining that massive of a band that, even back then there was already like a cult following, Were you embraced with open arms, or was that a tough transition going in as the drummer?
No, I got a little bit of like troll flack here and there. But it was light. It was mostly positive. But I did feel like I had enormous shoes to fill. Right. Because I did. And, but I was happy with, I was ecstatic, like just being given that opportunity for sure. It caused some turmoil between Wrought of Obsidian at first, just because we were young and we didn't know how to communicate, and we didn't know how to really make any of that work. So they felt like I was kind of leaving that project to go do this one. And in some ways I was, because that's where the opportunity was. Yep. And I really wanted to make a name for myself. So I did. I hunkered down. I tried to do as best as I could. And, but yeah, man, it was overall, man, I have nothing but positive things to say about my time in Devourment. I learned a lot, what to do and what not to do. And, my main takeaway from that is like, I get asked a lot, like, why are you still, like, how do you still have the, like the will to keep trying to do this? And I'm like, because I've seen it. I've seen how it works. I've been a part of it. Like, I know it's possible. It's just, it's an extremely difficult fucking thing to do, being in the music industry. But, again, kind of that chasing the dragon thing, Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild. I got the call from Mike Majewski, rewind it back a little bit. So James Delgado from Kill the Client was, Devourment was getting back together, and they were looking for a drummer. For whatever reason, Brad didn't want to be a part of it at the time. And we, Hyperion had been playing a lot of shows with Kill the Client, grind band from Dallas that Chris Andrews played drum for a while, Brian Fajardo. played drums for them, was the latest drummer, I believe. But anyway, he was slated, James, to do Devourment's new record. They were going to record with him, and they were asking for. They originally tried to get Chris, their drummer, to play drums for Devourment, because Chris is a fucking monster on the drums. But they didn't want to share Chris's time. So that didn't work out. So he offered up my name, and then that's how I got the call.
Oh yeah.
And then we met up for a rehearsal, and they were really cool. Mike and Ruben, they were like, "We're not going to worry about any of the old stuff. We want to see what you can do with this new song we have," and that was autoerotic asphyxiation.
Oh yeah.
And so we played that day. We basically wrote it that day, and they're like, "You got the gig if you want it." So, and that's just kind of how it went for a while.
How in the hell could you say no to that? Which, I mean,
Yeah,
makes
right.
sense, like the tension and all that, between 17-year-olds or whatever. But I mean, nowadays, look how mature we are now, and you're like, hey, dude, I have this opportunity. Everybody would be like, you have to fucking do it. You have to do it. I mean, you can't pass it up. But being back then, it's like, you pick that team over our team, and it's, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we worked that out, towards later on down the road. But it was weird at times, But no, man, again, didn't necessarily end on the greatest note, but not the worst. Like, I still talk with all those guys. I still consider them brothers. I wish them nothing but the best. I'm really happy to see them continuing to do what they're doing. And glad that it's Brad back. Like, if it's got to be somebody, taking over that role again. Like, I'm very, very fucking happy that it's Brad.
And you said you left in 2013?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're still doing the damn thing. I still see them on huge now, like headlining big boy stuff and just big festivals and all that.
Yeah,
and that kind of leads me to my next question. Didn't you play the Obscene Extreme Fest?
No.
Crazy one in like the Czech Republic or some shit?
Yeah, Brutal Assault was the biggest show I ever played.
Oh, that was it. Okay, Brutal Assault.
Yeah.
What was that like? I just have to ask, man. It was Brutal Assault, my bad. Yeah.
Man, it was insane. I want to go back, but backstory to that one. So we flew into Frankfurt, Germany, and the night before that, that was the second date. Brutal Assault was the second date of our tour. And so we flew in the night before, or the 2 days before, and then our first show was at Partisan in Germany. I don't remember exactly what part of Germany. Okay. And it had been raining at the festival grounds for fucking days. Like, just days. It's a mud pit. We're in a Sprinter. So we pull up, we play the set. There's video of it on YouTube. It was an awesome set. We were just we were all feeling on fire and just kind of ready to do the damn thing. But it's raining, pissing, raining, soaking everything. And so we're loading up. I go and I get hammered with the Origin dudes and just kind of like, all right, it's on to the next spot. We got to get to the Czech Republic. Like, okay. I'm covered in mud, like almost up to my knees, just completely covered. The van, the Sprinter is soaked, everything's soaked, gear's soaked. And we're just kind of rolling with it because fuck it, what else can we do? So we show up to Brutal Assault, and I'm literally trying to scrape mud and shit off of my legs and like get myself like prepared to get on stage. And then they show me the kit that I'm going to play, and there's a lot to be desired for this thing. So I'm not in the greatest mood. I'm hungover. I'm covered in mud. I'm like, this is the biggest show of my life, and I feel like I don't feel prepared for this, right? Just not in the headspace. But then we pulled it out, and it was wonderful. It was 15,000 people, and
jeez,
during the day, and so like the sun's baking us and shit, and we're just not feeling great, but it was fun, man. I think fondly back on that day, even with all the fucking crazy headaches. Got to see Devin Townsend that night, and
was that
Ishan.
with Young Lad?
No, it was DTP. It was
Okay.
yeah, and then
Project,
Hisham
yeah.
played, and some other, I think Cannibal played. It was
Oh, hell
insane.
yeah. Just to look out and see 15,000 people, though, that's just madness.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just something you'll never forget, obviously.
Yeah, I was just trying to get out of my head about it, just dealing with all this other stuff. I was like, okay, I just got to fucking roll with it, and we did. So
How many tours in Europe? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was gonna say. So they had a kit for you. Like, was it just a kit that every band was playing on? Or?
yeah, so like most of the Euro festivals, they'll have either 2 or 3 kits that they kind of like as the band is up on whatever stage, then you're back there setting your shit up, and then as soon as they're done, they wheel it and they rotate it. They have it on these big rolling platforms, which is fucking amazing. So it was that kind of deal. So I don't remember who was playing as I was setting up. But yeah, I'm back there just trying to Frankenstein this thing together because it was bad. It was bad. It was like nothing was working. I couldn't get things where I liked them, and I'm covered in mud and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the most nerve-wracking setups I've ever had, if in memory, for sure. But
I would imagine. No pressure on
right,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
How many European tours did you do with Devourment?
We did 2 full, and then we did a lot of like one-off, either festivals or little runs and things like that. And then I don't remember, but yeah, 2-month long in Europe while I was with them.
Did you do any U.S. tours with them?
I did. We did a full U.S. with Cattle, and then we did a full U.S. with Cannibal.
That's
Fetus,
so
and
sick.
Vital
I remember
Remains.
that. I remember that Cattle one. Was that
I did
Abysmal
too.
Dawn too?
No, the Cattle one was Cattle, Us, Knights of the Abyss,
Knights of the Abyss.
Beneath the Massacre, and Son of Aurelius.
God,
that
those
was in
lineups.
Tulsa. I went to that.
Yeah, y'all were there.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, that was cool. And then the best show you ever played with Devourment, Studio 360 in downtown
There it
Norman,
is.
Oklahoma.
That's
There
right.
it is.
That's right. I cracked my head open like this far wide open that night, and I like had blood all over my shirt, and I made you guys sign it.
On
You guys
the
were like,
fucking
"What
white
fuck?"
shirt.
Yeah, dude. I framed that shirt for years. I had that on my wall for like a decade probably, and the blood was like this like curdled like gross orange shit by the end of it. It was horrible.
Another one of my fondest show memories. I miss that place.
Dude, we had a lot of fun there, man. For real, it was
That
just a
place
little
got
hole
fucking
in
wild.
the wall.
So whenever I'm walking by there, because I'm still in Norman, I'm like, and Jeremiah's usually with me. He's 11, and I'm always like, in there, Studio 360, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, you mean that like office looking thing? And I'm like, it wasn't offices then. Picture an open room.
Yeah. 200 really drunk people going crazy.
Back in my day.
Back in my
right.
day. Oh,
No,
goodness.
that place was
awesome.
fucking rad.
Hell yeah, man. That was so sick. I'll never forget it when Brandon was like, Devourment is coming to Norman. And I was like, what? And Kirk was all psyched on it, you know. It was so dope. That was so
Yeah,
dope.
it was awesome.
Kirk came with us those 2 U.S. tours and ran merch.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun.
That's badass. I think you guys stayed over at his dad's house that night. I remember.
Oh yeah.
What albums did you play on with them? With the Devourment again?
So I did both Butcher the Weeks because we recorded it and then we re-recorded it, and then I did Conceived in Sewage, and then I did I'm missing one. So Unleash the Carnivores, and
Unleash
then
the Carnivore.
and then Conceived in Sewage, and then we did some splits and other stuff too.
This may sound ridiculous, but are they still releasing new music? I don't know why. I don't feel like I've heard.
I think
They
he's
did,
going out the last,
are they?
2 years.
Obscene Majesty. I don't remember what
That's
year.
right. That's
but
right.
Yep.
It's a fucking great record.
That's right. Okay, my bad. Back to do you guys have any Devourment questions? I think I kind of covered what I was looking for. Brandon and
No,
Zoomy.
I'm good.
Bringing up Wrought of Obsidian, you said it was kind of on a hiatus.
Yeah, again, I don't like to call it that because we still talk. We're still trying to figure out what the next step is. But right now, we're trying to write. So until we get some new music, we're kind of halting shows and things until we can get some new music. Again, the whole discovery thing. We've been playing. COVID really kind of took the air out of the tires with us because we were kind of on a upward trajectory, like even starting to try to maybe route some tours and
Right.
stuff off of the Children of a Shattered Infinity release. And then right after we released it a few months later, everything shut the fuck down. Andrew had to have his liver transplant and all around the same time. So we never quite we haven't quite recovered from all of that yet. He's doing fine. He's doing better than I've probably ever seen him. Yeah, he's doing great.
Andrew looks like a Greek god.
Back in the gym.
He's fucking still with us, and he's doing great. So it's again, it's just trying to we don't want to go out and start playing shows without new stuff. And right now it's difficult for us to write new stuff. So once we figure that out, we will get it back going again.
Awesome. Any new albums you're pumped on this year for 2024? We kind of ask everybody that.
Man, I gotta be honest. The two that I've been listening to the most this past month is the new Knocked Loose.
I love it.
And the Replicant album.
I don't know about that.
I don't think I've checked that one out.
Replicant, that's the band?
Yeah, I pulled up my title just because I knew this was going to happen. So, the Infinite Mortality record by Replicant.
Replicant. Okay, sick. What kind of music? What kind of metal is that?
Dude, it's like people are calling it disso death. Like it's very, it's got like ulcerate-ish.
I was just about to say ulcerate
part to it, but it's not that techie. It's much more groovy. It's much more
a wall of noise.
Yeah, but it's got that feel to it though. It's real raw sounding, and it's cool. It's awesome.
Sounds like up my alley.
April 12th, huh? That's why I missed it. I was obsessed with the New Benighted release on that same day.
Oh, I haven't listened to the New Benighted.
It's good.
Is Kevin Parody on that one as well?
He is.
God, he's such a fucking badass.
Yeah, he's a monster.
So insane.
I saw him with Neobliviscaris on their last tour, and loving Dan's drumming, I was a little skeptical, but then after
Kevin filled in for that?
Yes.
Dude, that's a crazy fit for that.
He is phenomenal at it.
Because Dan's a beast.
It was awesome, man.
Dan's feet never stopped for like 12 minutes at a time.
Ever. Just ever. They're still going right now.
I know. Dude, that's a kick-ass band. I know you guys in Wrought have played with them a few times, huh?
Yeah, we did. We got to open for them twice.
Saw some pretty special videos of that. Those shows look pretty fucking special.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was around the time that we were kind of ramping up. So
you had that violin player with you and shit?
Yeah, Carlo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so you brought up the violin, and I wanted to mention that I really like that touch in the Devil's Daydream. I really liked having the violin in some of the recording. Is that the same person?
It's not.
Because that the Misfortune of Suffering. That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah. My mind was going blank for a second, but it's the beginning and the end track have that violin in it. And you know what I thought before I let you answer? One of my thoughts was, it's fitting that the devil would be using a fiddle.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Zoomy. That's fucking badass.
I was like, of course he was. Of course he's got a fiddle.
I love that. I love that take on
Zoomy,
that.
Yeah, that's a Zoomster comment right there. I love that so much.
That's fucking excellent. I need to refresh my memory on her name. But it is so Ryan Dickinson, the main. He and Sean Galloway are kind of the two main people behind The Devil's Daydream, and so Ryan had those parts commissioned and then hired some session musicians to perform those. So he Ryan does, or has in the past. I don't know exactly if he's doing it right now, but he's done a lot of like country and bluegrass stuff. So the violinist or fiddle player on the record was one of his contacts that he knew from that side of music. So, and she did a fantastic fucking job.
Hell yeah. Cool.
But
Awesome.
I loved it. Sorry, I
That's-
muted myself
that's
just for a
awesome.
second. And just wanted to throw that out there whenever you guys mentioned that, and didn't mean to get us off track from where we were, but because we mentioned the instrument, I took a chance that we were talking about the same person there. But
Send it.
but
Send it.
the great thing about it, and it's the whole reason why, and I've said it time and time again, is talking about this kind of stuff on the podcast. You know, it gets me listening to a lot of music that I wouldn't have checked out. You know, and not even because I didn't want to check it out, just because there's so much music to check out.
right,
I always talk about, stuff gets stacked on top of the stack, and before you know it, that thing you were going to listen to later today is like at the bottom of your stack. And anyway,
That's
so
true.
it's really cool to get to experience the new music, and then whenever we talk about it, to learn a little bit more about the musicians who were behind creating it. And the Devil's Daydream is superb. I mean, it is top
Thanks,
tier. When I listen to that all the way through, we talk about uniqueness in tracks, and I really dug that too. So drumming was awesome, and man, that guitarist, forgive me, I'm not familiar with all the people in the group, but a lot of really cool riffs that came out of there. I don't remember one of the tracks, but he's doing really just sounds like a series of hammer-ons and something, it's what makes metal great, right?
Eaters of the Dead, I think is
Yeah.
the track.
Yeah, and it just, I thought to myself, I'm like, it wouldn't be a metal riff until you throw all the other metal elements behind it, and it's a metal riff now. So,
Right.
yeah, really cool the way you guys put some different styles together to still create. some
Yeah,
good metal.
they're fantastic, man. I've been fortunate to play with phenomenal musicians in the entire time, and those guys. I told Ryan and Sean no a few times, not because I didn't like the music, but just because I didn't think that I was in shape to play it. Because it's like I say it all the time, but a Devil's Daydream is like you turn it on and then it just goes. But there's a lot. To me, it's not monotonous. There's a lot that's going on. It's just that tempo never fucking stops. And so, it took me a while to say yes to that. And I'm glad I did, because I've been really enjoy those guys. I really enjoy playing that stuff. But yeah, it's challenging for sure, because the shit is fucking fast.
So did
Yeah, it
you
is.
did you take part in writing some of that stuff with them, or did
No.
they bring you on after it was already written?
So Rusty and I. So Sean is the vocalist, and Ryan is the he does solos and leads and stuff too. But I guess you could call him the rhythm guitar player. They had all of that written, and then Rusty and I came on to write our parts, and then just add little flourishes and things. But we didn't do anything in the way of arrangement. We just wrote our own parts for the most part. Some of the newer stuff that we've worked on in the past few years, we've had more of an identity arranging things, but it's still a lot of, hey, I have this in the bucket, this needs to be a song type of thing. Like, so it was a lot of it was already created.
So do you guys get together a lot?
No, I haven't gotten together with them in quite a while. It's
a lot of remote
yeah.
stuff, huh?
Yeah. I think the last thing we did was we had a meeting to discuss plans for that stuff, but the last show we played was in 2021, I think. So 2021 or 2022, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, same kind of thing with them. We're looking for a bassist to fill a slot there. That's not necessarily what's holding us back, but Just kind of
What do
waiting
you
for
Zoomy?
waiting for yeah. Hey. So,
On my screen, you're pointing right at me. I was like, what?
Whoever.
You were pointing at all of us. He was pointing at Eric. He was
which
saying you.
one of you fucking play bass? Yeah. No, but we would like, because we didn't get a chance to get out and promote that record live either. So similar situation. We kind of made a decision that we didn't want to, because before we released that record, we were playing that record out live. That was really what we had to play. So we didn't want to continue playing just those same songs. We wanted new material, more discovery before we kept that thing going. But that's kind of where we're at with both of those, with the Devil's Daydream and Wrought.
I get that. So anyway, I kind of jumped in your spot there, Greg. Please.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I kind of wrapped up all my questions. I was just going to ask, what you got any goals for 2024 with the Tongue of Eden or any of your other projects, or what are you trying to achieve this year?
Tongue of Eden, again, wrap the album up, get it released, and then start playing shows. We've got to build out the live set. There's some things that we want to incorporate, lighting, what have you, since really it fits that aesthetic. But also Ian and I, since we're going to be pretty static at our stations, we're not going to be able to get up and move around a whole lot. So trying to find ways to keep that engaging live.
Right.
Wrought, I hope that we start spinning the wheels on some new tunes and get those tracked. Get back to playing live shows, and really the same for A Devil's Daydream. But I don't have as much of a timeline on that as I do for the Tongue of Eden.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're all hands on,
Yeah.
I guess it's easier when there's only two of you to make, decisions instead of like four or five.
There is that for sure. That was that was another kind of when building the project, that was intentional.
Yeah.
Because everybody's schedules, man, life. It's hard to juggle.
Especially getting older, it gets tougher and tougher. It's not like everybody can be like, all right, Thursday night, we're going to fucking blast this music as loud as we possibly can through my whole house,
Yeah.
We can't all be Ray Ray. We can't all
Shout
be
out
Ray
Ray.
Yeah, Ray.
So y'all touched on something, Zoomy, you did earlier that I wanted to ask y'all. And so what made y'all want to start doing this? I'm very intrigued, and I'm digging what y'all are doing.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to do a podcast to talk about metal for, I don't even know, probably since I heard what a podcast was. And, I guess just being too afraid to try the new technology and getting involved in something that I really just didn't know anything about, not to mention watching yourself, listening to yourself, something about that. Just, I was like, well, maybe I'm not that guy. Maybe people won't want to see me. So I had a lot of insecurity whenever it came to trying to start this thing. And so, I know I've actually talked to Brandon and Greg about it like years ago and was like, man, we should do a podcast and talk about some metal, and they were both like, yeah. But, again, I didn't really do anything with it. And then, so one day I was sitting there, and then, that the name that we don't like to mention, but I saw that they had, a platform that made it easy to record an episode, and it automatically just posted to their platform. So Brandon and I
I got a text message from Zoomy at where he goes, what time are you going to be off work today? He's like, I don't know, 5. He goes, cool. I'm gonna text you a link. We're gonna do a pilot episode of the podcast. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I have like an hour long
today
to get
all
home,
right.
so I was like, all right, well, I'll be off in like 30 minutes. So our first episode is just Zoomy just hit me up. I'm driving home on I-610 through the Galleria in Houston, talking about pizza death and stillbirth with Zoomy.
That's right.
For 15 minutes, and that's our first pilot episode, just to see how the hell does this thing even work? Is it even something that we can do?
And,
You know,
and we
That's
had
awesome.
that was the first episode, so like
It was. We had so much audio quality issues the first few weeks, that after making the first one, it then became, all right, we got to keep this thing going because, I've said it time and time again, once you lose your momentum, it's so hard to, blow that balloon back up again. And so we had one episode under our belt, and I was like, all right, next week we got to do it again. And then the next week, Greg joined in. And
I think I butted in and said, "Hey, I want to do that too."
yeah, he was like, "Are you guys going to invite me?" And I was like, "I invited you 2 years ago, so yes, you're in." And well, we did that, and I was still like, "Man, it's great, but we have some serious audio sound qualities, and I knew nothing about it." And so I was able to get Studio One, and I learned how to download stuff and put it on a DAW, and actually like do my own editing there in the DAW a little bit. And as soon as I got real comfortable doing that, then we went to video, and I had to relearn how to do the video. But by then, I wasn't afraid to try anything new. And what really became so valuable for me, and I know I'm taking up all the floor space to answer this question, but
No, you're the one to answer it. I mean,
it's just hanging out with my buddies. I mean,
Hell yeah.
I got to a point where I was tired of not really getting to see all of my friends. And I've got what I call a very unique, very rare situation where I have not one, not two, not three, not four, but I've got like half a dozen to 10 friends, that I've had since I was in like middle school to high school time periods. And being an adult now, I've met a lot of people that don't have a single friend.
Right.
And
yeah.
So I guess, part of my midlife crisis was I'm tired of not hanging out with my buddies. And so we were all in different parts of the country. I mean, Greg and I a little closer, both being from Oklahoma, but still Tulsa and Norman.
2
I
hours
mean,
away.
I mean,
Yeah,
it might
it's
as
not
well
close.
it might as well be Houston sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so we started doing it.
Absolutely.
We get to hang out. Every week got a little busy, so we backed it up to every other week, and then we realized what we really like to do is we like to talk to other musicians and talk about new albums and talk about shows. So right now, that's kind of what we do, and we try to filter our decisions through that. We talked about bringing artists on because, artists are a big part of the metal world too, and especially with
Absolutely.
all the AI stuff, and we've even had talks about it, what another way to just bring awareness to, I don't know, a big part of the bigger picture too is bring some of them artists in and let's talk with them and let's pick their brain. So anyway, what it's going to become, I don't know. I have no idea. We've got so many big dreams, so many plans. But lastly, for me, it's also about checking out that new music that for years I kind of just stopped checking out, maybe just listen to the same stuff. I think I went through one entire year where I just listened to Megadeth. That was it.
Yeah.
I just listened to Megadeth like the entire year. I was like,
was
it
rad?
So the beginnings were really great. The later on, not as much, but I totally refamiliarized myself with a foundational band in my, like they were just. I was always the Megadeth guy. It took later on. I was like, oh, Metallica's actually really good. Yeah. But for me, Megadeth was like top tier, and
Oh, yeah.
still kind of are, even though Dave Mustaine's a little bit of an ass.
I'm
I
just
feel like
doing
you got to
Greg.
do that though.
I'm here to
You've
get
got to
rich.
you've got to go back through the foundational stuff every now and then. Like
Yeah,
to
it's
remind you.
important to do that.
Yeah,
I
so
listened to the whole City of Corn self-titled the other day, and I was like,
Hell
man,
yeah.
this is worse and as good as I remember.
Yeah.
I was like, the musicianship, I was like, damn. Because, I mean, it's just crazy how you're like, I could play all this entire CD right now. Like, this is wild.
Well, and you and I did it when Cradle re-released the Remistress.
Oh, yeah.
The Cruelty album. Like,
Absolutely.
bro, fuck.
Yeah, you and I talked about that a bunch. Like, oh, my God, dude. Yeah, that's right.
That fucking record, man.
Yep. Monumental.
So, a couple of questions here. I'm not really a good interview person, but one thing that I was like, what do you like to eat? What is your favorite food?
Man, I cook a lot, or I try to anyway. but I cook a lot of Mexican food. Um, but shit, I guess a favorite thing of mine that I make is carnitas or birria tacos.
Nice,
You are
carnita.
from
So,
Texas.
Yeah, dude.
ooh-wee.
Yeah, been
Ooh-wee.
doing that a lot here lately.
All right, all right. I like that. What about your favorite movie?
Oh, that's like asking me my favorite band.
Oh, that was
All-
the
all-
next question.
All of it's like I don't. Let's see. Right off the top of my head. Fuck. Put me on the spot.
I know, that's why I did it. I didn't tell any of these guys I was asking these silly questions.
Sleeve, dude.
These silly questions, yeah.
Dude, okay.
I love it.
It is not my favorite, but the one that probably holds the biggest sway with me has got to be Jurassic Park. That movie, anytime it comes
Classic.
on, I can watch it. It's like any of the Alien movies,
Uh-huh.
Predator movies, like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
those
yeah.
nostalgic movies from my childhood. But yeah, that one probably for me, that's one I could watch over and over and over again. So
Jurassic Park, it's a great one. I just actually read an article about how people aren't happy that it isn't in the Rotten Tomatoes list of best films.
It's not.
Nah,
That's
it's not.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now I'm unhappy.
Yeah, so Rotten Tomatoes are writing you. So,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm a
no,
Rotten Tomato.
Rotten Tomatoes sucks, though. You can never believe a Rotten Tomatoes. Like, when you see, 13%, you go see it, and you're like, that was a great movie. I don't know. Rotten Tomatoes, for me, I can never
Yeah.
trust their ratings.
I
Yeah.
learned a long time ago that critics and I do not have the same opinion. I look for very different things in my movies
Yeah.
than the movie critics do.
Siskel and Ebert and me are not on the same page.
that's funny.
At least you know that though, so you can do the
Yeah.
exact opposite.
If I go, I look at
Exactly.
Google users. That's what I look at, and I'm like, okay.
I guess that's a way to do it now, So,
Yeah,
but
you
anyway,
gotta look at
that's
the people.
That's all the silly questions that I really had. But still, I really wanted to know the answer to those. I wasn't just throwing them out there for no reason. So
Fair
I
enough.
want to try your birria tacos. I'm a huge birria
Yeah.
taco connoisseur.
Next time, if we can actually fucking plan this, the next time you're in Dallas, I will make you some and I will bring you to the show and you can tell me if they
Bro.
suck or not.
Bro, I'm in. They will not suck. I already know.
that's awesome.
Well, sick, man. Really appreciate you coming on here,
Yes.
Eric. Seriously,
Yeah.
man. This has been a kick-ass
Absolutely.
interview, dude.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, we've really had a good time. And, anytime if you ever just want to holler at us and say, what are you doing on the next episode? We're going to say, I guess talking with you, man. So
Yeah,
Hop on
I'd be happy to come back.
keep
Talk
you
some
just
more
wanna
shit.
Come on
Awesome,
and
man.
plug a new Tongue of Eden single or whenever your album release shows or whatever, man. We'd love to have you on.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you, Eric.
everybody out there, thanks for listening. We really appreciate Eric taking time to just, it's late. It's actually 9:36 right now p.m. or it's late for us old guys, as you've heard us say. And so for him to take his time, we really appreciate it, and we hope everybody out there has got a chance to enjoy it. We hope you've learned something, and we most of all hope you check out some new music out of this. Go check out some stuff that Eric's working on. Like I said, reach out to us. Let us know. We want to hear from you. That's all I got, guys. Metal Block, over and out.
Later.
Sick.
Yeah. Check out the Tongue of Eden. All right. Peace out, blockheads. Cool.